So Grandmaster Khalid, could you discuss what your science and philosophy is for the martial arts?
Mm. You know, science is a great thing because it's based on facts. And it's proven on facts. And I'll always have this expression that the truth needs no evidence unto itself. And so basically, the truth is the truth. I mean, you don't have to have an opinion on it. It is what it is. It's been discovered as being the truth, and that's it. You know, I often quote Einstein, who we know is one of the geniuses of our time, and his theory of relativity being fact. But when he discovered it, he actually spent his entire life trying to prove that it wasn't true. I've always been impressed with that. There's something as powerful as the theory of relativity. I would expect other people to prove me wrong, because there's other scientists that maybe, you know, for whatever the reason, whether it's just trying to prove you wrong because you're a scientist like them and they want to be a better scientist, or they really are helping you by trying to prove it wrong so you can go back and do your homework on it. But for you to do it yourself, for you to try to find your own theory wrong, well, he died trying to find his own theory wrong. It is what it is. It is truth unto itself. But he wasn't satisfied with that. He really tried to see if there was another truth on top of that. Gotta appreciate that. So when I think about martial art, I think about the things that I know, the things that I've been taught, and then I think about all those things really in relative as time goes on. You know, when you're 10 years old, you have a reality about things, right?
Yes.
Is it the same reality that you have when you're 20 years old?
No, sir.
But why? It's still you. But your perception of that reality has changed. It's still the same thing, but you see it in another truth. It was very, very true at 10 years old, whatever it is. Very, very true. But at 20, maybe thinking about it a little bit different. You know, so let's just think about fire in its creation. What does it take to make fire? At 10 years old, you don't think about the ingredients of fire. You don't think about the oxygen that it takes to keep fire going. You don't even believe that it takes oxygen to make fire. You just know that it's hot, it burns you. You don't even think about the color of the flame being different. A blue flame being the hotter flame than a red flame. That's still the understanding of fire. So as I start to understand things better, it's the same thing, it's still fire, but my understanding of it has changed. But it's still a truth that fire is hot, it does other things. So as martial artists, I think we sometimes get limited in our growth. We think that the same thing that we thought when we were a white belt, a green belt, or whatever, is the exact same thing. Not so much when you get another belt, but my issue is that thinking that all martial arts serve the same purpose because I learned it in one purpose. What I mean by that is, in a dojo or a clinical sense, it's a clinic, it's a clean environment, it's a laboratory environment. There's no real danger there. There's no real assessment. If I'm kicking a bag is not a human. It's not the same thing. It's not going to feel the same way. It's not going to recoil the same way. It has timing, it's movement, it's moving. So it's kinetic. So it's changing all the time. It's not like I hit something just straight all the time. You know, I remember a quote from Bruce Lee in one of the movies is, "Boards don't hit back." You know, I think that what he was trying to do, he wasn't being funny with that, but he was just trying to say that you can't throw a strike or a punch with the same intention of the board that you do a human being. At least that's what I got from it. So I guess everybody gets a little bit things differently. My teacher, Supreme Grandmaster Dr. Powell, constantly would make us and get us to understand things on another level. But it was appreciated because he never would give us the answer. We had to search for the answer. Like he would give it to you in these little quatrains, so to speak. You know, little sentences, and you would read it back to yourself over and over again. And in a class, everybody would have a different meaning to it. Think about it like a book club, right?
Yes, sir.
You read a book, I read a book. We get together, we discuss the book. And I'm like, you know what? I've never thought about the character that way. But when I read it, I had a different version. Same book, same story.
Yes. Why
do we both have different interpretations of what the author was offering? And I think the main reason why is because the author wasn't reading it to us. You see, if the author reads it to us, then we we're forced to get an interpretation.
Yes.
But if we read it to ourselves, we go with the understanding that we have on the interpretation. So think about martial art technique like that. Think about the, let's just take a punch. Okay. What we call a straight punch in martial art is a rotated punch. It's like a hook punch, a vertical punch, and then a straight punch. So when the punch is coming out the chamber, it does all three of those things. It's not like a regular fighter's punch, which is like a battering ram. It just batters the thing. There's no rotation on that. It's not because it won't hurt. It will hurt. But it's not like anything that's screwing like that. This rotating. You know, air go like a bullet. Bullet's turning. Doesn't just come straight out the gun like the old musket, right? The old musket was boom and the bullet, the lead comes out. But as weapons evolved, we understood when that bullet was turning, it had more accuracy. So the same thing is happening here when you punch. It's an accuracy thing. Now we got that part some years ago, but Dr. Powell's version opened my eyes a little bit differently to the same punch. He would say, okay, we still got the rotation, but when you make a punch, a square hand here, and you notice the bone alignment is here to here. It's not flat like we think. Yeah. So he said, turn the punch. So that the two knuckles line up. So when you hit, you're hitting with the bone alignment as opposed to all four across. And when we learned that these two knuckles here can easily get damaged by sending your full fist in. Yeah. Now, you're hurting yourself and you're supposed to be hurting the opponent. I can't tell you how many people I've seen get their whole knuckles open up by punching somebody in the mouth because they put their whole knuckles across there. So his understanding was a little bit different. He told us to look at it as bone alignment, not so much in bone delivery.
Yes.
Concept. See, concept goes to science. The science of the human body is a skeleton system in there. How do I line these bones up so that they cause damage to my assailant, not to me? So I have to think of it scientifically now. So I'm the deliverer, but delivering the technique, or am I delivering the concept? And so I like to think of my martial science as concept based, where whatever I do, I try to look for the concept of it, where it can be used in more facets than one, and how I can use it to better my technique that's connected to the next thing. So now I hit you. Now my next version is to take your skeleton and manipulate it. Because I understand if I'm fighting a human being has 206 bones in the human body. I know that because most humans walk around with 206 bones. Fact, science, physical science. And from there, my martial arts gets better because I learn what the body can do, what it can't do, what it will do, and what it won't do. That's a direct quote from my teacher, Supreme Grandmaster Dr. Moses Powell. Now, imagine a teacher giving you a concept like that, saying, I'm going to teach you what the body can do, what it won't do, what it will do, and what it won't do. And then walk away from it. And you're going like, what? And then years later, you have that epiphany and you go, I get it. See, so the lesson is always, I planted the seed and the lesson is constantly growing. To be able to see that in nature, that the root of the tree makes the bark of the tree, that makes the leaves of the tree, and the fruit of the tree. The fruit falls down to the ground, becomes pulp, nourishment for the root of the tree. All in the tree. The fruit doesn't have to, you don't make pulp from another tree. If whatever falls to the ground from there, the leaves, what all of that is nourishment for the root of the tree to grow it again. So we kind of got to look at these small cycles in our body that make things happen. The body's made like that to replenish itself. It's things that get in the way of the replenishment. So as martial artists, we have to replenish ourselves with the science over and over again. You go back to the basics and you look at that same basic and look at it again, and you'll see something you didn't see before. Right? So, the analogy I always use is the alphabet. Letters make words. Words make sentences. Sentences, paragraphs. Paragraphs, pages, pages, chapters, chapters, books, books, libraries, libraries, institutions. Now, you learn the alphabet in the first grade. You go to college, you get another set of alphabet?
Same.
Same. 26 letters, right? In the English language. So why don't you get a college set of alphabet since you're so much smarter? You learn to manipulate those same 26 letters to make bigger words. From cat to catastrophic.
Yes.
You see? So I'm going back to my root. I'm going back to the science of the language. And then I'm building from there forward. But if I keep thinking I'm going to get a whole new language, I'm going to forget about the basics. I don't need that no more. That's the third grade alphabet. And we get ourselves twisted.